Okay, people. So I decided to check out Survival of the Thickest, right? This is based on the book of the same name from Michelle Buteau, right? The reason I checked this out because she hosted the American Barbecue Showdown. And she seemed amusing. So I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, you know, I'll see what else she can do. You know what I mean? It is directed by Amy Aniobi, Kimmy Gatewood, Linda Mendoza, and Kim Nguyen. They each directed 2 episodes. And in the writing room, we had Michelle Buteau. We've got Grace Edwards, Ian Edwards. Ian Edwards is a funny motherfucker. We got E.R. Fightmaster, Solomon Georgio, Hilary Handelsman, Julia Lindon, Danielle Sanchez-Witzel, right? Who Buteau created the series with. Let's see, on production, we got Willie Friedman, and Manny Jacques. Right, as executive producing, we got Michelle Buteau, Linda Mendoza, Anne Hong. Right, we got Danielle Sanchez-Witzel, Ali Reich, Ravi Navadan. Co-executives is Grace Edwards, Justin Swartz, Sydney Coleman, Ian Edwards, and Solomon Georgio. So yeah. Dagmar Weaver Madsen handled cinematography for all 8 episodes. Craig Cobb and John Raffanelli both edited 4 episodes apiece. Felicia Fasono casted all 8. Production design for everything is Lisa Myers. Art decoration, Joseph Fernandez. He did 8. Set decoration for everything is Nikki Ritchie. Costume design for everything, we got Katie Bonds. And our cast. Well, yes, we got Michelle Buteau playing Mavis Beaumont. Right, her best friend is Khalil, played by Tone Bell, and then her other best friend is Marley, played by Tasha Smith. Right, her roommate is Jade, played by Liza Traeger. There is Jack, played by Taylor Sewell, and Luca, played by Marwan Zuti. We should probably, if we're doing the loves, Camden, played by Hugh Moore, right? Then we have got Natasha, obviously, played by Garcelle Bouvas. There's India, played by Anise Felix. Peppermint, played by Peppermint. Bruce, played by Anthony Michael Lopez. All right, we got Cooper, India's son, played by Donovan Louise Bazamore. There's Trent, played by Alan K. Washington. Dr. Britta, played by Ambre Anderson. Billy, played by Misha Osherovich. Nicole, played by Nicole Byer. Divinity, played by J. Riley Jr. That's probably most of the main group. I may have missed one or two, but that's mostly it, I think, I would say. So the gist of the series is what is the gist of the series? Yes, when a size inclusive NYC stylist who wants to make it big in the fashion world suffers a devastating breakup. She decides to live her messy single life on her own terms, even if her ex, her on-the-job faux pas, and her dating highs and lows threaten to take her down. Nothing's going to stop her from becoming a boss bitch. So yeah, that is the show, basically, and yeah. Oh, you know what? I will say this wasn't bad. It was fairly amusing. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's nice to see a show that isn't just all size zeros, you know what I mean, running around doing their thing, right? So seeing a mix of people, and they do hit some, yeah, it seems like they do try and hit some interesting points, right? Like, oh gosh, when was it? It might have been like episode 5, something like that, where they're all having a conversation, because India is talking about her son and him being called a certain word at school, and then it's how do you approach that, right? And her ex had one way he wanted to do it, she's scared, right? And then Khalil, I think, was in the room, and Mavis both then talk about when that happened to them, and so it became this poignant kind of conversation that, yeah, because it's just like, what do you tell your kids, right? What do you tell young people? You know what I mean? And I'm talking about, like 4, 5-year-olds, because teens probably been called it. You know what I mean? It gets to an age where you've definitely been called it. But before you get to that point, how do you prep someone, right? How do you coach them to be able to process what the fuck is going on and how to deal with it? You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting, the way they approached that. And then it's just, dating and business and just all of that kind of thing, right? It's, I mean, the setup of the show is her boyfriend cheats on her, right? So we do look at fidelity in a relationship, and different people have different points of views around that, which is, that's fine. That's fine. I did think they went heavy on the usage of certain words, right? Because, Mavis is just like, I want to make clothes for people, of all sizes, shapes, creeds, colors, all of that jazz, right? Which is, yeah, that's definitely a good thing. You know what I mean? Make things exclusive, open shit up. But every single time, it was just, I want to make clothes for big girls, for the LGBT community, non-binary. And it's just like, okay, it just seemed like, yo, we don't have to constantly say the words. You know what I mean? There's also, I just think, like, when you're having conversations, you're not always just saying the words, right? There's people know what the fuck you're talking about, right? When you're like, yo, I'm trying to break down some fucking barriers here, son, right? People be like, okay, right? You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, so you want to make it for big people, but then fuck everyone else. Or, oh, right, we're trying to open the doors for black people, but no one else. No, I'm just like, yo, I don't know. When I talk about this shit, I'm talking about everything. It's not cherry picking what barriers we're ripping down. It's opening shit up for everyone. So maybe it's just me, right? On the way I look at things, but I'm like, yo, I don't have to say every fucking word every fucking time because y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That's the life I'm repping, man. So you know that's me, right? And when the friends are in the room or other business acquaintance, you feel they know Mavis, right? So those things don't need to be said. You feel me? So I just thought they went like hard on that. But you know, it's fine. Then there was just this thing, right? Towards the end. I think it's the last episode. Yeah, it was the last episode. Maybe we met the character in the 7th episode as well, towards the end. I forget. That might have been the thing. But there's this character called Billy who's like, oh, you know, my prom, I want to go, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, oh, no, let Billy into, because Billy's not of age, but it's just like, let Billy into the club. I'll vouch for Billy. Oh, we'll do this for Billy. And I'm just like, but we don't know who the fuck Billy is. You know what I mean? Just because Billy is LGBTQQ, whatever the initials are. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean automatically Billy is a stand-up motherfucker, right? Just because someone is from a certain community, group, whatever, doesn't automatically make them good. There's arseholes everywhere. So I just thought, all right, maybe we have a bit where we establish who the fuck Billy is, right? If Billy is a stand-up motherfucker before, you know, because it's just kind of like, oh, everyone in this is good. And it's like, but it's not though, right? Now, that's just a storytelling kind of thing for me. As I said, other things, I just thought, yeah, that was handled well. There was some jokes up in there. You know, I laughed a good few times, right? Not constantly through every episode, but I did chuckle. Hey, you know what I mean? The other thing that I did was a little frustrating. And I just thought, oh man, we could have really had another really good conversation about this. But Khalil's dating India, right? And then there's a bit where he's just like, oh, I'm all in. I want to meet your son. I want to do this. And firstly, we don't really know how long they've been dating for, right? Because I think the time frame is a big part of this. But she's just like, oh, yeah. Like, but let's go slow on that front because, you know what I mean? And my ex, I've got to deal with my ex, right? We both would introduce partners to the other to ensure, because you're co-parenting, right? And I feel there's certain information people understand. If you're dating someone with a kid, it's not the same as dating someone on their, you know what I mean? On their J's, right? So there's a bit where he's all a bit like, oh, I'm irritated because you're ex, right? And oh, I think this and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, that's mad heavy handed on him, right? Because you just think, listen, you have to understand, right? For someone to let their kid know someone, right? And if it's under a year, if you haven't been dating a long time, right? Are you really going to introduce your kids to just everyone? Because maybe you go like 6 dates and then it all falls apart, 10 dates and it all falls apart. You want to make sure that this is the person with the potential, right? This is the person that could be the thing before you introduce someone, right? So I just thought that whole storyline, we could have had more conversations and really kind of hit that point. You know what I mean? Hit that point. Because the way it is, it was just kind of like, oh, someone's being a little unreasonable. And just like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Right? And also, give us a time frame. Because, obviously, if they've been dating 2 years and it wasn't 2 years, I know it wasn't even a year. But let's just say if they've been dating 2 years, then what he's saying has more validity. It's more prevalent, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, it was just that. But I will say, I liked how certain things were flipped around, especially the end. Because we've seen that whole sequence, we've seen it before. It's usually the other way around. So, you know what I mean? When it happened, and I thought it would be the other way around, right? I did think it might be that. But when that happened, yeah. It made me smile. It made me smile. There was a little happy feeling inside, ain't gonna lie. So, it's 8 episodes, right? Each episode is just under half an hour. It's on Netflix. Survival of the Thickest, right? I think if you enjoy stuff like, I've seen some people kind of compare it to Sex and the City. I don't really think it's like that, but maybe stuff like Ugly Betty, right? If you like Ugly Betty, Broad City, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. So if you like those shows, I think probably Survival of the Thickest is for you. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's on Netflix. It's out now, people. So yeah, go do your thing.